Welcome into Sports Memos Betting Podcast, NFL Opening Line Report, Super Bowl edition with Teddy Covers. Teddy, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, Drew. Excited about this week, man. It's a pretty big week this week in Las Vegas. Hopefully many of you will be out here for the big game, obviously on Sunday. And for those of you watching, wherever it is you watch, you know that in terms of betting weeks, there aren't many bigger betting weeks in the Super Bowl, the week of the Super Bowl. This is Christmas for sports bettors. So let's enjoy it and see if we can make some money on Sunday.
Yeah, in terms of any one game, it doesn't get any better than this Sunday. Teddy coming to us from Las Vegas. I usually am, but Teddy, I'm actually in South Florida, so it's a big weekend here as well, and it looks like the weather should be nice this week for Super Bowl Sunday. And we'll be talking about some of the props. Might be a good thing to keep in mind what the weather is going to be on Sunday. But Teddy, let's start off with side and total here. We got San Francisco versus Kansas City. It looks like minus one is the prevailing number. There are a couple one in the hooks out there, minus 1.5 for the Chiefs. 54.5 seems to be the prevailing total as we're speaking now, Monday morning, week of the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday, February 2nd. So 54 being the total, minus 1 mostly, minus 1.5 at some shots for the Chiefs. Anything else you wanted to throw out about the side or the total movement that you've seen and where you think it's going this week?
Sure. Just a quick look ahead at the weather forecast, as we want to do well ahead of time for Super Bowl Sunday. Expected to be sunny, temperatures around 70 degrees. So it's supposed to be a beautiful day for football. It's also supposed to be beautiful in Vegas for the Super Bowl this week. So whatever that's worth. But it is supposed to rain the night before. There's always a chance in South Florida of dealing with rains or passing showers and the like. So it's definitely worth noting there. But rest assured, we'll be monitoring the weather report very closely throughout the course of the week, especially obviously in an outdoor venue this time around. When it comes to side and total, there's a couple of things to talk about here. One, in conversations with a handful of sportsbook directors around town, there is a developing dichotomy here where the recreational bettors are looking at the higher scoring offense and the professional bettors are looking at the elite defense. There is a sharp square divide in this game right now. It's not every sharp bet is on this side and every square bet is on that side, but the majority of the tickets are on Kansas City. The bigger bets that have come in are coming in on San Francisco, and that's not unusual to see the public being in love with a higher flying offense and the wise guys being in love with the superior defense. It's certainly worth noting that the wise guys have lost plenty of Super Bowls, including last year when the sharp play was on the Rams and the public play was on the Patriots. So it's not unusual or unheard of to see the public beat the wise guys on Super Bowl Sunday. I can think of half a dozen times that's happened, and that's just off the top of my head. If I went back and looked, there'd be more, I'm sure. But the pros versus Joe's angle on this is the pros are looking at San Fran and the Joes are looking at Kansas City. And the books, if you look around from sportsbook to sportsbook, the books that cater to recreational players are, they're still sitting at 1.5. I'm even seeing 2s out there on KC. The books that cater to the pros are pretty much exclusively at KC -1. When it comes to the total, we've reached a point, at least at the books that cater to wise guys, where it's not going up anymore. This was a steady over, and we're seeing, all right, how high is it going to get before the money starts coming in on the under. And look, we haven't seen under money come in yet. I don't think there's anyone who's looking to bet the under is in no rush to make that bet, simply because one would anticipate with 90% plus of the wagers that are going to come in the 48 hours before kickoff, if you're looking to bet unders, you're waiting until the 48 hours before kickoff to do it. All that said, this total has stopped rising at the books that cater to sharper bettors. It went steady up, 51.5, 52, 52.5, 53, 53.5, 54, 54.5. Hit some 55s, and that's boom, boom, boom. It stopped. We haven't seen a ton of buyback. 54.5 still a common number out there. And the books, again, that cater to the recreational bettors that don't take the wise guy monies, they're all at 55 plus, or many of them are at 55 plus. But total-wise, I think we've seen maybe not the peak, but there's clear resistance at 55 or higher And that tells me that we will see under money, despite all the public money that's coming in on the over for this game. We'll see under money from the sharps in the 48 hours before kickoff. And the books that cater to the sharp bettors will have a lower total than the books that cater to recreational bettors by kickoff.
In your opinion, because this is an interesting topic, in terms of 55 seems to be it is the high water mark in resistance there. Do you think that it could break through? Almost thinking like stock market style, where a stock will hit a price and then come back, hit a price again, come back, and then ultimately push through if that's the way it's going. Do you think that could happen here with this total, or no, it's going to stop at 55? It's very hard.
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
No, but my gut reaction is it's not going higher than 55 at the majority of books. Okay. Now, when it comes to that, the 48 hours before kickoff, I don't know how else to describe it other than a cluster bleep for sports books. Remember, there's a screen. We all have a screen with a handful of, you can go to the Sports Memo live odds screen, and you'll see the side and the total. They'll have that. They do not have all 400 plus props listed on that screen. Okay. So what happens is books, there's literally a line out the door at every book in Vegas all weekend. Okay. And the books aren't sharing their info. They're just, how do we keep, let's move this number. We've got to move this number. Oh, we just took a hit there. I mean, it's all, limiting liability. Mm-hmm. There's no broader concern about what's the market doing. It's about what's happening in our book as we're taking in bets at 17 different windows and online and hand over fist. So that means a couple of things. One is that the prop prices will vary dramatically from book to book, and those price changes will be even more dramatic over the weekend. And two, when it comes to side and total, there may be some legitimate disparity on Super Bowl Sunday between one book and the next. Even though, side and total, they're all listed on the screen. They're all listed on the Sports Memo. Just because of the nature of how crazy it is on Super Bowl Sunday, the books aren't always worried about being specifically on market. They're worried about balancing their own liability. So you see some situations on Super Bowl Sunday where there's, you say at 55, is that where it maxes out? At most books it will, but there may well be exceptions. There will be exceptions because that's their own, based on whatever liabilities they have at their own property is where they have to deal the numbers. It's not about the broader market number come this weekend. It's about each individual book's own liabilities, and that creates great opportunities for bettors.
That makes a lot of sense. Well put, Teddy. Limiting their own liability risk, not necessarily worrying about market-wide numbers for the Super Bowl, especially for this game, Teddy. We're also seeing, looking at the Sports Memo odds screen right now, South Point at 55 and 1.5. That would make me think that it's more of a square book. Is that what South Point is normally known for, or more of a sharp book?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. So, South Point, when I'm putting books into categories, I would absolutely put in the South Point as a book that caters to sharper bettors. But again, let's not forget, okay?
Yeah.
And people forget this. It's one game.
Right.
All right. And you say, where's the sharp money? You know what the sharp money's doing? The sharp money's going to be all over the college basketball screen on Saturday.
Yeah.
Side and total between the two elite teams and the once in a generation quarterback and the best defense in the NFL. It's not a scenario in which the professional bettors, I can tell you flat out, they're looking for props. From a side standpoint, this isn't there's not like every pro is loading up on San Fran. This isn't Seahawks Broncos, okay? Where literally every pro was on Seattle and backing up the dump truck to the window, and every Joe was on Denver, and that was as easy a Super Bowl as you can get. This isn't that, Those scenarios do happen once in a while. They don't happen very often.
Okay. And he's Teddy Covers each and every Monday here on the Sports Memo Betting Podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. Myself on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. We got $9 Monday each and every play, discounted to just $9, including Teddy's total in the NBA going tonight, tipping off Monday night, only $9 at sportsmemo.com. Teddy, we got the props to talk about here, Super Bowl props, and shout out to our friend Ralph Michaels. He's got a nice sheet up that is going over pretty much a lot of the props here and how they cashed in the past, about 10 years. Just looking at it, Teddy, and I'll throw it over to you. I mean, we got the coin toss, first play. I always like the first play, especially in South Florida, Teddy. Want to tell you why. I did play quarterback here in Broward County, and one thing from playing football in South Florida, and a lot of the high school kids here will be able to, and coaches will be able to tell you this, if it's raining, you always want to throw the ball on the first play of the game because it's the driest ball, and your hands are the driest, the wide receiver's hands are the driest, the center's hands are the driest. So in South Florida, if there's a chance for rain, I'm gonna be on the pass just for that. But looking at the weather, it doesn't look like rain's going to be an issue. That's when here pass is -120, rush is +130. A penalty, interesting enough. So this is a three-way bet. A penalty is +160. But I just wanted to throw that one out there. And one thing that I was looking at prop-wise first play, we got the coin toss. Rams won last year. New England won the year before. Atlanta won the year before. Just going down the line here. Team to score first wins the game. Yes, yes. No 3 years ago. And then yes, 3 straight after that. But Teddy, throw it over to you and things that are kind of catching your eye with this prop report.
Sure. And I want to talk about this rather than go through all the individual player props. Certainly people have all kinds of bettable opinions about the player props, as do I. But the more general props are the ones where I think a lot of people struggle with, and these are on every single sheet, and a lot of people play them. Having the history is so key. So you talk about that first play, and again, the numbers that are posted on that sheet, they're last year's numbers, so they're not necessarily accurate for this year. But the pass as the first play of the game, well, that has been 5 of the last 7 years, including 4 of the last 5. And one of those was a safety on the bad snap to Peyton Manning in the Seahawks-Broncos Super Bowl, which that was a pass play too, wasn't it?
I believe
so. Was it just a bad snap for a run?
Yeah.
But I'm almost sure it was a pass play. So really, 6 of the last 7 years, we've seen a pass in the first offensive play in the Super Bowl. You talked about the team to scoring first wins the game, and that's usually priced in the -160 range. That's been a really good bet. 8 of the last 9 times in the Super Bowl, the team that scored first ended up winning. Team that's scoring last winning, and that's usually also in that -160 range. Well, the team that scored last has won each of the last 10 Super Bowls. The first score of the game, and you can find 5-minute lines, 6-minute lines, and 7-minute lines for first score. You'll see a pretty big difference in the juice. A team to score in the first 5 minutes, the yes is a big dog. Team to score in the first 7 minutes, the no is the dog. So between 5, 6, and 7 minutes, you'll see a dramatic disparity. That being said, last year's Super Bowl, no scoring until the second quarter. No scoring until 7 minutes in that crazy 41-33 Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl. So even that stayed under early. If you passed the no score first 6 minutes or first 7 minutes or first 5 minutes. There was no scoring at all in the first quarter of the Falcons-Patriots, another wild game that flew over the total. No scoring there till the second. No scoring in Seattle, New England in the first quarter. So 4 of the last 5, we've seen that prop go over, no score, the first 6 minutes of the ball game, first 7 minutes or first 5 minutes. The slower starts in Super Bowls have been consistent money winners in recent years. Should I keep going? Because there's so many of these to talk about. It's really fascinating. The defense or a special teams touchdown, which has scored, that's always a big dog. 6 of the last 10 Super Bowls, we've seen a non-offensive TD, although not in either of the last 2 years. The 2-point conversion attempt we've seen 3 times in the last 4 years. And we've seen that 7 of the last 10. Teams trying for 2. The history says yes. The field goals, both teams making a field goal of at least 34 yards. That's a common prop. That's 5 and 5 the last 10 years. The yes often heavily juiced in that prop, but the no has been more profitable in recent seasons. Game decided by exactly 3 points. That's one that always stands out to me, Drew. People are like, oh yeah, I can get 5 for 1 with that.
Not many.
Yeah, well, it's happened one time in the last 10 years. And even in these short line games, asking teams to win by exactly 3, It's like betting on the will there be a 6 the next roll in craps, or 7, I should say, in craps, where you're not getting 6-2-1, you're getting 6-4-1. It's a bad bet. And of course, the game has not been decided by exactly 3 in any of the last 6 Super Bowls. Longest TD of the game. Let's see. They've been.
It was only 2 yards last year, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the longest touchdown, the shortest touchdown over under 1.5 yards is worth talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone under 5 times in the last 7 years with 1 yard touchdowns. Obviously, the longest touchdown, shortest touchdown of the game in this also 1.5 yards. The under has been the bet to make in that. Combined field goals 3.5, 4 overs, 6 unders the last 10 years. Nothing dramatic there. Highest scoring half, second half, has been real good. Cashing 5 of the last 7. Combined interceptions, seen over 4 times in the last 6 years. Combined lost fumbles, we've actually seen a fair few overs. Although each of the last 2 years has stayed under in combined lost fumbles. So, there's a ton of these. The total quarterback sacks, 5 last year, 1 the year before, 10, 12, and 4 the year before that. All 3 of them went over. Although in years past, we've looked at 3.5s for quarterback sacks. That's not the prevailing number this year, given the pass rush of these 2 squads. So, I can keep going.
No, good stuff, Teddy. I have a question here. I guess over or under 1.5 yards for the shortest TD, and it's mostly been under. I believe you said. In a big part of that handicap is the intercept or the pass interference in the end zone. The ball comes out to the 1, right, or does it come back to the
Correct.
2?
It comes out to the 1 yard line.
Okay, so that would be a big part of that handicap to go under on that one.
Absolutely, you're hoping.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess that was a huge part of the prop questions there. We got slower starts out the gate. So if you were going to take advantage, because these are, a lot of people thinking this is going to be high scoring just with the Chiefs alone, what they've been able to do and taking the over. If you were on the board of slower starts, how would you recommend attacking that? Like no score in the first 5 minutes? Would you be like, lowest scoring quarter, first quarter? What do you think's the smartest bet to attack a slow start?
All of those make sense. And if I'm playing the under or the so first quarter to be the lowest scoring quarter makes sense. First half to be the lower scoring half makes sense if we're expecting a slow start. And it's also the no score first however many minutes. And I personally, if I like the under, if I like the no score in the first couple minutes, I'm going to spread my bet out. I'm going to put some under 5 minutes, some under 6 minutes, some under 7 minutes. All are available.
Okay.
So I'm going to hedge myself a little bit so I can get a nice plus price on the plus 7 minute or the no score first 7 minutes, even if I have to lay a price with the no score first 5 minutes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
So if the opening kick gets returned for a touchdown, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a realistic chance, especially if San Fran's on offense, to open the game. And whoever wins the coin toss is deferred in the Super Bowl every year. They win and defer. I'm trying to. The last time a team took the opening, that won the coin toss and took the opening kick was New Orleans back in Super Bowl 44. That was a full 10 years ago. And of course, they took the opening kick and then went for the onside kick to open the second half. So they got the ball to open both halves there. The defer normally the case. But the bottom line is I'm going to look at there's a realistic chance that, especially if San Fran gets the ball first, the 49ers game plan has to be keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. And San Fran's been putting together these impressive, long, grind out the clock, 15-play, 17-play drives. So my point being is the Niners could get the opening kick, march down, score, and you could still cash your no score first 5 minutes, no score first 6 minutes, no score first 7 minutes props, even if they score on their opening drive.
That makes
given
sense.
The way that they want to play. A lot of times I look for the no punt or which will happen first, punt or score, or how will the opening drive end up? A punt, field goal, touchdown. The three-way props, and the three-way props aren't. I always when I'm betting props, you can never forget that anytime it's a three-way prop, the house takeout is greater than in a two-way prop. So your best props are always yes, no, over, under. That's your legitimately bargain price props. You won't find that on the three-way options, let alone the who's going to score the first touchdown of the game option, which offers the big payouts. But is not at any point a positive expectation wager.
And Teddy, just a handicapping question overall for you. Three-way props takeout is more for the Super Bowl. Is it like that always, or just for this game? Like, are soccer books taking more out for their three-ways? Do you know?
Right. Slightly, okay. But it's also there's a different type of competition when it comes to betting soccer. You see what I'm saying?
More sports.
Well, yeah. I mean, the soccer globally is the biggest sport for betting. Not here in the States, obviously, but globally it is. So you'll find the competition tougher. So you'll find you'll find books that take out less on the three-way props in soccer that they would, and compared to what they're going to take out. The house takeout's going to be on the Super Bowl. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And do you? And I know I'm asking these questions just on the spot. We haven't gone over these. Is the Super Bowl the most bet game in the world, or would that be the championship game in the World Cup, or is there something I'm not thinking of?
I don't know in terms of handle for the World Cup versus handle for the Super Bowl. Global I mean, there's never been an accurate picture of global handle for U.S. sports.
Right.
And there still is not going to be an accurate picture of global handle for U.S. sports. So that's an answer that I genuinely don't know.
Right.
Although when you think about it, if everyone in the country bet on the Super Bowl, I still don't know there would be as many bettors as would bet on the World Cup. World Cup's got a really big audience.
Super Bowl.
But I don't know if the World Cup final is the one that gets all the action, or if it's or if it's the semis, or if it's the group rounds, or whatever it is.
Right.
I'm not a soccer betting expert, so I really couldn't. I don't want to guess.
I mean, the Super Bowl is a hugely bet game, Teddy. Even outside living in Costa Rica, I remember watching the Super Bowl with people that didn't understand the game of football, and they were watching the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It was just like a big spectacle. So there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this game, a lot of bets placed, even from people that don't fully understand all the rules of American football. But Teddy, man, I thought we broke it down really good, man. Side total, props. Did you want to throw anything else out there that kind of forgetting to mention here before we shut this down?
Geez, I don't know, man. I mean, there's it's Super Bowl week. Your head's filled with stuff. I'll tell you that. My mind is whirling, and I've So my prop report, let's talk about I haven't posted side total prop anything yet.
Okay.
It will be up tomorrow. My goal is to have them posted today. I'll have it written up today. I got a whole bunch of bets and a whole bunch of tickets, and I got to put it together and find out which numbers are still available that we can give to the clients. But that report will be, let's be realistic. That report will be posted before 9 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday morning at SportsMemo and WagerTalk.com. My goal is to have it up tonight, but I don't want to guarantee I'll have it up tonight. But you can check tonight, obviously. We'll have and I said side total and props. I'm not going to get involved with this total, so it's going to be I'll have a side recommendation for the game, and then we'll have our prop report. And I don't know yet exactly how many props it's going to be. Historically, I've been in the range of anywhere between 6 and 12. And I would anticipate we'll be in that range for prop recommendations for the clients this year as well.
Okay, and we'll have that out tomorrow. And guys, you can also use the coupon code TEDDY69, that's TEDDY69 at checkout for a 7-day all-access package for just $69. It will include every play he releases in every sport for the next 7 days for less than $10 a day. TEDDY69 at checkout, and that will include his Super Bowl play and the prop package. So a great deal there with that podcast coupon code TEDDY69 at checkout. It's also $9 Monday, sportsmemo.com, so make sure to check that out. We'll have Teddy on next Monday as well, going over the Super Bowl, also a look ahead to maybe college basketball or NBA. But Teddy, all good otherwise?
Yeah, man, and next Monday we'll absolutely look at the NFL future market.
Okay.
For 2021, we got to know who's if there's anyone we need to bet now. So good stuff, Drew. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with Drew and I. We really appreciate it. And again, please visit the website when you can, sportsmemo.com. We appreciate all the likes. We really appreciate all the retweets. We really appreciate all the comments. keep them coming. And thank you very much.
Yeah, feel free to
Thank
comment.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Feel free to comment on the video, guys. We love that. And on Twitter, at Teddy_covers, at Drew Martin Bets, podcast coupon code Teddy69 at checkout, 7-day all access. Guys, best of luck with your bets. We'll talk tomorrow.